Well, I've been a scuba instructor since the mid-1990s. And that means a couple things. First of all, it means I'm getting old, apparently. But more importantly than that, it means I've spent a lot of hours in the water with other scuba divers, with snorkelers, and with students. And in that time, I have also spent a lot of time watching all three of them struggle at one point or another with gear that didn't quite fit right or wasn't very good gear. And all of that led to this kind of lack of comfort in the water, which is what we want when we're out snorkeling or scuba diving or just spending time in the water. We want to be as comfortable as we can. Now, part of my job was, of course, fitting students for masks and other equipment. And over the years, I've always kept my eyes out for new masks that came on, and I like to try them out when possible. Now, I've already looked at some of the other mask and snorkel kits by Scuba Prime, and I was really impressed. So again, a big thank you to Scuba Prime for sending me a sample of this to try out. And just with the other ones, I was very, very pleased with this. Now, when you get this out of the box here, you're going to have a couple things. You're going to have the mask itself, and you're going to have a mesh bag. Now, mesh bags are really important for any kind of dive or snorkel gear, simply because when you're putting this stuff away, it's wet, so the water can drain right out of here. So you've got a great bag that you can use on here with a drawstring. But kind of to the meat of the matter, we get to the mask. And just like the other Scuba Prime masks that I have looked at, I knew immediately when I took this out of the box and held it in my hands that this was going to be a good mask. For starters, we look at the glass itself. Now, I was super happy to see that this was tempered glass. Now, if you haven't spent a lot of time looking at masks or buying masks or even using masks, that may not seem like a big deal, but it really is. And it is for a couple of reasons. First of all, they are just hardier. You can scrub these things out, you can throw them in a bag, and they're not going to scratch or cloud up like plastic lenses do. There are a lot of masks out there that have these kind of plastic lenses, and they will scratch over time. Sometimes they scratch very quickly, and they get cloudy. And nobody wants a cloudy mask when you are diving. You can also, with tempered glass like this, you can add what we call defog solution to the inside. You've probably all been snorkeling at some point and your mask has fogged up a little bit from the condensation off of your face. And with tempered glass, you can put a little solution here, and you can even use like a toothpaste. You can use dish soap, anything like that. Rub a little bit around on the inside here, and it keeps your mask from fogging up, which again works much better with tempered glass than it does with plastic. Also, just the optics in terms of what you can see over time and how clearly you can see out of a mask, tempered glass is much, much better. So, right out of the box, this kind of checked off my first box, which was that the glass is very good. That was the first important thing that I wanted to get to. Now, the second thing I was looking for was the skirt itself. Now, the skirt is this portion of a mask right here that fits up against your face. And again, sometimes these are made out of a plastic or kind of a cheaper rubber. And that can mean a couple of things as well, which is those kind of skirts tend to crack a little bit and they dry out and they get harder, which means they're not as pliable against your face. This has got a really nice deep silicone skirt that is nice and soft, which is going to fit against your face. If you've been snorkeling before, always one of the big complaints is that you can get water up into your mask. Now, this can happen even with the best of masks. If you think about when you smile or laugh and you get those little creases above your mouth, that will always let a tiny bit of water in. But what we want to avoid is water that just steadily comes into the mask. And one of the ways that you fight that is by having a good silicone skirt like this Scuba Prime mask has got. It's nice and deep. It's very soft. You'll notice it as soon as you get out. And when you're looking for a good fit of a mask, there's a test that you can do, which this passed with flying colors when I tried this just yesterday, is you take the mask and you just put it up against your face. You don't put the strap around the back of your head. You can even leave the strap out in front. And you just fit the skirt up against your face and you inhale with your nose. And if the mask pulls up against your face and seals just by inhaling through your nose. You know you've got a good fit on that mask, and this did perfectly for me yesterday. Now, you can also see that this nice glass is not only on front, but it curves around here to the sides. And this not only allows you to see kind of off in the periphery, but it also lets more light in. It's a nice deep mask here, lots of light in there, and you can see out the side quite well. Now, the strap on this, and again, I'm kind of going through all the things that I check for on a mask because these are always the weak links in other cheaper masks, but that passed the test beautifully on this, is not just the strap, which is made of silicone as well, so it's very soft. It's got a nice wide portion on the back to hold up against your head. But adjusting these on cheaper masks can be very tricky. And the adjustment on this is very easy. You can see here, you simply squeeze down on these two buttons and the strap adjusts very, very easily. And not only does it adjust easily, but it stays in place. So it doesn't slip out and your mask strap is all of a sudden sliding around. So it's very secure. So this is an outstanding mask. I'm going to use this. I will probably end up getting another one of these just for use myself and for my family. I cannot recommend these enough, and I can't wait to get in the water with this.